Got vision and destiny. Add elemental, that's chemistry. All those heroes, that's infinity. It's endgame, that's Yugi peoples. Welcome to the commentary. Alright, so yeah, this is my round one match. I am on, guess what? None other than we got our get Shifty hero deck here, and I ended up playing against Fire Kings, and yeah, just fortunately Fire Kings is one of those decks that this deck just happens to work very, very well against. And yeah, my hand's not all that great. We got Honest Neos, Imperm, Super Poly, A Hero Lives. We got the Thrust, and we just start off with A Hero Lives. And the way this deck works, you know, we can't go get Stratos into something crazy because we don't have another hero to summon with Solid Soldier, or Solid Soldier to special summon another hero. So basically our turn is just going to be Dark Law, hope that he is enough. So yeah, we go ahead and activate Hero Live, special summon Shadow Mist. We're going to go ahead and grab that mass change, and then, you know, since my opponent didn't activate anything, we don't get the Thrust off. I thought Thrust, you know, would be a good addition to the good addition to the deck because you know, all the hand traps and everything that are people playing, Veiler, Ash, Droll, all that and such, and you know, it's pretty useful throughout the game, you know, and that's just what it was. So my opponent starts off his turn by summoning Eravatar, and I think like the thing that I was checking to see was if it could negate continuous effects, but it does not. It only negates like the effect, but it also has to send it to the graveyard, so he wouldn't be able to activate it because of, you know, Dark Law. So he activates the Fire King Island, activates the effect of Fire King Island. So of course I'm going to go ahead and chain mass change, bring out my Dark Law. He's going to have to destroy the Barong, and it's going to get banished because of Dark Law. And then he's going to be able to search. And, you know, fortunately, I started off with the Honest Neos, so my opponent doesn't know that I have it in hand already. And, you know, he's going to go search Garunix because a Garunix will allow him to special summon since a fire monster was destroyed. And normally here, if I didn't have the Honest Neos, I would go search for it with Shadow Mist effect. But yeah, since we already got it in hand, it'll be a surprise to my opponent. We go get the only follow-up that really is inside of this deck. We go get our Liquid Soldier that would allow us to special summon our masked hero, not our masked hero, but to special summon our Shadow Mist back to the board. And we're going to use Dark Law's effect to banish a random card in my opponent's hand with the randomness of dice determinant. He got the Imperm, and, you know, just like a thing here is, you know, don't necessarily shotgun out bringing out your Dark Law, because if my opponent didn't have a monster on the board at that point, he would have been able to Imperm my Dark Law, and that would have been pretty bad. So, you know, the Garunix thinks that he's stronger than my Dark Law. He's going to attack into Dark Law, damage step, elemental hero Honest Neos, destroying the Garunix, and yeah, that is really bad for him right there. We're gonna go ahead and get the life point damage calculated on there, because, you know, my goal with this deck is to kill my opponent in this next turn. You know, I really need them to be dead. There's not a lot of follow-up like in this deck. You know, it's Shifter or Dark Law, and then hopefully OTK next turn. And, you know, the deck was really good in the tier format, and it's just like as formats have got more advanced and more complicated, the deck is like, you know, it's a mid-rangey deck, you know, that puts out floodgates, double floodgate, but like I said, like it's lacking in lacking in follow-up and just like overall sheer power, because a lot of times if my opponent brings out a monster that's just like much bigger than me, then it makes it really hard for me to win the game. But as you can see right there, the normal summon of the Liquid Soldier targeting my Shadow Mist to special summon him back to the board is going to be enough to get me the game there, because I just basically be able to you know, search out another mass change and, you know, probably would have like made Blade Armor Ninja so that I could get the double attack in over, then attack again, then attack with Dark Law, activate Mass Change, bring out Anki, attack again. Yeah, so that's kind of, I think, like a route that I was going to take to just go ahead and finish off the rest of my opponent's life points. And yeah, you did hear me right. You did definitely hear me right. It was going to be Blade Armor Ninja. Blade Armor Ninja is in my extra deck because a lot of times, you know, you can just straight OTK with it if you have, you know, the Blade Armor Ninja with a mass change and another hero on the board. It's just GG's, bro. One of the only things that I don't like about this version of the deck is that Mass Hero Dian and Mass Hero Anki, in order for the effects to work, they have to send the monster to the graveyard. So they don't necessarily pair well with D-Shifter and Dark Law. So yeah, do be aware of that whenever, you know, you're calculating damage for game and trying to go into it. Just remember that in order for either one of those guys to get their effect, the monster does have to go to the graveyard. So, you know, there's just a little thing to think about. And yeah, like one of the other additions to this deck, you know, was the ability to play SP Little Knight. And it's really, really cool because you get that instant contact and it brings out your little fusion Neo-Spacian right there. And, you know, with any other, you know, of your monsters that you have out on the board, you can make SP Little Knight and get the banish effect without, you know, having to use like Miracle or Poly or, you know, Link summoning or anything. Just instant contact instantly gets you there with your other monsters. So yeah, after side decking and stuff, you know, I think like against this deck, I did leave in the super polys and such. And I was trying to decide whether I should leave in the Ash, and I think I did like leave in the Ashes. If I was going first, I would have sided in the Cosmic Cyclones, but I decided to leave them out since my opponent would be and already established like a lot of that stuff. And yeah, my opponent obviously bricked there. He flips up the anti-spell, and you know, this build, like, it's nice, you know, to have my spell and traps, but it's not necessary, just like completely necessary. But unfortunately, didn't open up with a solid soldier there. It would have been really nice. And so we're just gonna summon the Shadow Mist. We do have the Honest Neos in hand, so you know, I could decide if I want to attack, if I want to, you know, save my Shadow Mist or not, if he goes to attack into it. And fortunately, you know, like I said, my opponent still didn't draw too well. So he has the normal summon, the one that's the spell or trap monster negate. He's going to attack into my Shadow Mist, and I'm trying to decide if I want to save my Shadow Mist or just let him die so that I can go ahead and get my you know, my follow-up and go ahead and get my Liquid Soldier. You know, in this deck, he's definitely not Graceful Charity. He's definitely Liquid Soldier. So I'm going to go ahead and allow it to happen. And then I'm going to activate Shadow Mist effect to add a hero from deck to hand. And keeping in mind that I also have the emergency call face down. And because he's got like the anti-spell over there, I could just go ahead and get rid of it with this Stratos. Or, you know, like I said, if he has some kind of negate or something for the emergency call or Ash or something like that, Stratos is still strong enough to attack over this monster, so I can at least get him off the board there. Opponent sets another back row. Pass turn to me. And yeah, I think like this ended up being like a pretty solid game for me, even though my opponent did have anti-spell. Like I said, it's not the typical hero deck, so you know, not as reliant on spells as it normally would be. But like I said, it just feels like it lacks an overall power level overall. And now that I have the Super Poly and I have Honest Neos in hand, I really feel like I could just like straight OTK my opponent with his hand. Just depends on what his back row is. And yeah, just definitely have to get rid of the anti-spell in order for it to work. So we're gonna activate the emergency call that we had set, and that will allow us to go ahead and add our solid soldier from deck to hand. I do believe we are going to go look for the solid soldier. That way we can use his effect to special summon out the Stratos, and then use Stratos to pop that anti-spell and see if we can't just go ahead and finish our opponent off here. But like I said, it just kind of depends on what the card is that he has face down. And yeah, I had to show my opponent to make sure that it was the whatchamacallit, turning the, that I picked up the solid soldier that I added from off the ground. And yeah, I think like the crazy thing about this is like, if I do like successfully attack over both of these, when I activate the super poly with the solid soldier, I'll be able to special summon Shadow Mist back from my graveyard, use Shadow Mist effect to grab that mass change, and in the battle phase I'll still be able to use that mass change and such. And I'm just trying to decide, like, do I want to straight go for the OTK here, or like what do I want to do? And I think we're just gonna straight I feel like I should just like straight go for the OTK here. We're going to go, still trying to decide what to do, because I'm still like a little bit concerned that back row is the quick play spell card, the one that allows him to destroy monsters. But like, even if it is, it doesn't hurt me too much, except that I have to worry about what's his name, Garunix coming out to the board. So we go ahead and attack into the monster, and it does happen. Garunix comes out to the board. Yeah, we destroyed the fire monster. This was like the only thing that I was kind of worried about. Garunix is going to destroy, and he's going to destroy the Kirin. The Kirin's going to allow him to special summon a monster and then destroy a card on the board. So it special summons the spell and trap negate back out to the board and pops the Book of Moon that I had face down. But we still got that super poly in hand, so I'll be able to super poly both of his monsters together in order to make that mud dragon. Unfortunately, it kind of ruined like the OTK plan that I had, so I'm not going to be able to kill him. I was trying to do quick NA math in my head, and yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and pitch the Droll and lockboard here. Since my opponent hadn't been doing much, I figured he still wouldn't be able to do much, and we're gonna bring out the mud dragon. And one of the things I like about bringing out the Mud Dragon is that he's still a level 4, so I can make a rank 4 with him if necessary. The Mud Dragon attacks, then we're going to attack with Solid Soldier. And like I said, I'm staring down this Honest Neos because I want it to be enough to finish my opponent off. Unfortunately, it's not, so he is going to get another turn. And because a lot of the Fire King monsters activate in the graveyard, we're going to go ahead and use our Solid Soldier and our Mud Dragon to go ahead and make Abyss Dweller, because Abyss Dweller will also get that 500 boost for having a water monster as a material. So, pretty good benefits of, like I said, the Mud Dragon there. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Bring out the Dweller. Just make sure that if you do this, don't detach the Mud Dragon as material, because you want him to keep that attack boost. Yeah. So during a standby phase, we're going to go ahead and activate Abyss Dweller, detaching, of course, the Solid Soldier, because we want to leave that on there. We're going to draw for turn, and we drew, a pretty good card. I also wonder if I should put Mass Hero Acid inside of this deck, because it did actually come up a couple times. It's just like extra deck space is kind of tight. And we're going to go into the battle phase, attack with Stratos here, and then in the damage step, we're going to activate Honest Neos. That way we don't have to worry about any of those spells or trap cards being activated. Since it's during the damage step, it becomes too late for him to do anything, and we hit him in the face for 4,300. And yeah, just a quick easy game there against Fire King. The anti-spell draws, and he informed me that he drew 2 of them at least, and I think somebody else told me he had actually drew 3 of them. So pretty unfortunate for him. Good thing we had the Super Poly there to fight back against the Garunix board with the Kirin pop and everything. So yeah, as you can see, like, the deck still a pretty decent deck, much better during the tier format, and where things were kind of like you're gonna place tier, but this format is kind of wide open, so the deck's not as powerful as it could be. But the changes I made to it seem pretty solid. Y'all will get that deck list tomorrow, And appreciate everybody for staying a while to listen, and I will catch y'all on the next video. My wingman, he come through, he level up, he go cool, he's shining out and popping to over 9K. That's a breakthrough. We on top now. Here's a look at our world.